Hello and welcome back to Typical City. A bit of transfer news today, a little bit quiet in that regard with regards to Manchester City in particular and their transfer market business in this January transfer market at least, and plenty of other Premier League football clubs as well. They too are also being pretty quiet, playing their cards close to their chest during this January transfer market. But could it about to start popping off? Popping off with Popovich, Matea Popovich, which is an exciting prospect, one for the future. Manchester City have been linked with this player, but it seems like we're going to have to go toe-to-toe with numerous other football clubs for the signature of this youngster, a current 18-year-old player, an attacking midfielder that's also played left wing. He looks like a decent prospect playing at Partizan Belgrade. He joined at the age of 15 years old, joined their under-16s, worked his way up through to their under-19s level. He does look like a very exciting player, one that breathes a lot of excitement into Manchester City fans, no doubt, because he's a free agent, though. I think that alone is a factor that brings other football clubs to the table, to the negotiation table, because it makes him attainable. You know, no one has to spend a huge amount of money other than the contracts. Terms, which have fallen down for AC Milan. Now, since December, AC Milan were the top dogs in the signing of Matija Popovich. Now, that's fallen through due to his contract demands, and now Napoli are the reported number one figure. In fact, there's been quite a bit of a narrative going on, a tale of this transfer saga that's continued to rumble on since the end of 2023, starting in November 2023, in fact, where Fabrizio Romano reported AC Milan was his most likely destination. Calcio Mercato then also reported AC Milan deal will be official once he turns 18, which was on the 8th of January. That date has now passed by over a week now, and there is no announcement with regards to Popovich joining AC Milan. Since then, the reports that the deal has fallen through, and in fact, on the 20th of December, there was a clue that deal was falling through because Fabrizio Romano was reporting that City wanted to hijack the deal for the AC Milan deal for Matea Popovich, which is when we entered the race for the highly sought-after attacking midfielder, which is exciting. Fabrizio Romano then reported on the 10th of January last week that the AC Milan deal is officially now off. Fabrizio Romano then reported 2 days ago on the 15th of January that Napoli are still working very hard on this deal to try and make it happen. So the reports are suggesting that now that he's a free agent, he's reached the 18-year-old bracket where he now became a free agent, and now he's got a sea of options for him. AC Milan, he's checked that off. His contract terms weren't met for AC Milan. Napoli are now the number one reported destination for him. But Bayern Munich and Manchester City are very closely followed behind. So starting with the Bayern Munich reports, that was yesterday, in fact, Christian Falk, who reports on Bayern, as well as Florian Plettenberg, who reports on Sky Germany, that Napoli negotiations are still ongoing. Bayern are next in line to have those discussions, which may take a couple of days or so. So this could rumble on throughout January. City are also still interested. Now, that was only reported by Christian Falk, but not by Florian Plettenberg, who very rarely has anything positive to say about Manchester City, in truth, very much in the Bayern camp, which we all know our relationship with Bayern, how that's gone over the few years. But there are multiple, and I mean multiple, Football Insider, Football Witness, there's so many reports all suggesting that Manchester City have already made an official offer for the player. And in fact, we invited him to watch a Champions League game last year against Red Star Belgrade, a Serbian football team, being the Serbian international that he is. The only thing that concerns me with regards to Bayern's interest is that he is Serbian. There is a connection there between Serbia and German players. A lot of Serbian players do ply their trade in the Bundesliga first before moving elsewhere, and if he ends up at Bayern, he's kind of difficult to do any sort of deals beyond that once he joins Bayern, because City and Bayern haven't got the greatest track record of doing business together. He was also born in Altotting of Germany. So he has got German connections already, even though he does play at the Serbian international level. He plays for Serbia, and he has been a key part to Serbian's under-17 team as well, which helped them reach the quarterfinals of the under-17 Euros earlier last year in 2023, and eventually they were knocked out by Poland. So it's an exciting prospect for Manchester City fans. The player himself, there's very little footage of him to actually go off, because as you know, when you're playing your games in the under-17s, under-19s leagues, you get this shoddy camera work and it's just not the official stage. And also you question the ability at that age, how well he could play his trade from the step up in quality from under-17 and under-19 leagues and then stepping up into the Premier League or the Bundesliga. That's a big, big leap for him. For me personally, from what I've seen, he looks more than capable, because right now in the footage, the very few clips of him that are available, he looks like a man playing amongst boys. He is predominantly an attacking midfielder. He has played on the wings for Partizan Belgrade during his time there as well. So there is that versatility. I'll just pop his stats up on the board for you as well, which are incredibly impressive. These are during the Kadetska League, which is the under-17 Serbian league. 25 appearances, 21 goals, and 5 assists. So more goal involvements than games itself, which is an incredible prospect, regardless of what league you're in. Those are the numbers that prick up the ears of any top European football club. They will be interested in players like this. And the one thing that majorly stood out to me was the size of this individual. Popovich is not a short arse. He's an absolute unit. A little bit thin in the unit side, but I mean, you imagine this guy filling out with age once he reaches 21 and 22, and when he's finished growing, he's already 6'3". This guy is not short. And there is a bit of a theme there with Manchester City as well, because over the years we have gone for, even before Pep Guardiola, we've gone for a big spine. We've often had smaller, more agile, with a bit more dexterity about their play outside of the spine. But Manchester City have predominantly gone for big spine. You look at it right now, even with Ruben Diaz, Rodri and Haaland. That's a big spine. We've seen it with Yaya Toure, with Vincent Kompany. Big guys. We've even been targeting players. Lucas Paquetá, big guys, big units as well. There's been plenty of other players. And Nunes as well as another one. We signed Nunes, and he fits the bill of ball carrying ability, which is another attribute to Matea Popovich that stands out amongst the rest of his attributes, which to me was his ball carrying ability and his stride. Being 6'3", the stride, he is deceptively quick. The way he moves that ball, and he's just one of those players. Yaya was the same. He doesn't look, if you just stand him in a field on his own and make him sprint by himself, you don't get a perception of how quick Yaya Toure actually is. You start putting him alongside other people and ask them to sprint alongside him, and it starts to look like that, and he just leaves them in his dust. Popovich is exactly the same. You look at him burst past players, and his stride is so big, it looks slow, but the distance he's actually covering is huge at such a quick rate. So that's an incredibly exciting prospect. Imagine the fact that this is an 18-year-old who's not finished growing, probably has that way, but a little bit more this way, he needs to grow. And once he starts to grow out and fill out, we've got a big player on your hands there. You know, he kind of reminds me, although Paulinho, that he's got the same frame as Paulinho. Paulinho being very much on the defensive side of midfield rather than the attacking side of midfield. But his level of composure when he gets into the box as well, Popovich, looks really good. His ability to turn quickly for a big guy, not bad at all. He's got skill. I've seen him popping it through legs at ease. And he's got a vision for a pass as well. As you can see, he can also find the back of the net quite easily, with 21 goals to his name in 25 appearances during his time in the under-17 Serbian league. So that's incredibly exciting prospect. There is definitely a narrative going on here, and the reason why I've made this video is because City have been continuously linked with this player throughout. I have a funny feeling that we are a little bit low down the pecking order, but I feel like City are just biding their time and maybe recognising what they have to offer. It's like, okay, go and listen to Bayern Munich, go and listen to Napoli. You've already listened to AC Milan and rejected them. When Manchester City come knocking on your door, as a football player, you must look at that and think, that's my best hope. That's my best chance. Maybe not in terms of minutes. That's where the deal might fall down, as what promises can Manchester City provide to Popovich and saying you will get these amount of minutes in a Manchester City shirt versus Bayern Munich, who are probably going to be able to offer him a similar amount of minutes, maybe a few more. But compared to Napoli, they'll be able to offer him much closer to first-team football regularity compared to Manchester City, for example, with AC Milan being off. Barcelona seem to have fallen down the pecking order, as they often do in these deals now. Their recognition in the transfer market is nowhere near what it used to be, certainly for player attention at least. But this one excites me a little bit because there is a constant thread of Manchester City being intertwined with all these rumours of him going elsewhere. There has consistently been, but City is still there. City is still there. City is still interested. So I've kept note of this player. I haven't reported on him till just now, but it's exciting. There is potential. What do you think? Go and have a look at the player. Come back to the comment sections and let me know what you think of Matea Popovich, because I'm incredibly excited. And what do you think of his size? What do you think about the thread of Manchester City's, the theme in player styles that we're going to, the physical size of these players that we're going for as well? They're big ball-carrying guys, which is a really interesting and not very Pep-like, in truth. But maybe there's Pep's up to something. He's got a trick up his sleeve here, and I'm really excited to see what fruits this can bear going forward in the long term. But get your comments in the sections below. I really want to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up silver.